You're gonna have bare feet on the internet? Isn't that a faux
My feet are
pas?
out though, right?
Yeah, the feet are out.
Okay.
I like your socks.
Thank you. These are Bob Ross socks today.
They are. I noticed. I'm like, I
Yep.
love that.
They're my creative socks.
All right, we will discuss that. Welcome to the I Hate Social Media podcast, the podcast where we dive deep into the chaotic world of social media marketing with a twist of irony and a dash of humor. So whether you love or hate social media, join us on this journey as we uncover the secrets to making it work for you. Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Micah Derling, with my friend and business partner, Zach Godwin. Zach, welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be back. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, better be. I mean, it's your podcast too.
Usually I'm on that side of the camera, so it's nice to be in the comfy chair.
That's right. That's right. So I like your socks.
Thank you. Today we're rocking the Bob Ross socks with my happy little trees for all of you watching on YouTube.
We had a guest here last week. Last week's guest was Mark Lane, and he had a pair of fun socks too. So I'm thinking I need to get some fun socks.
I think it's a marker of a man. I think that if you can be dressed to the nines, if you can be really professional, but you have that little pop of color in your socks, I think that speaks to a true man.
I think so. I've already asked Rebecca for a pair of Sriracha socks since
Very
it's like
good.
my favorite sauce. And by the way, for the record, I have to say this: I was using Sriracha like well before the documentary, which was really well done, by the way, and well before it was cool. So just want to point that out.
We're hipsters here.
Yeah, man. That's right. That's right. All right. So we're picking up on round 2 here. This is round 2 of our podcast. We kind of cut it off last time and said we'll keep going next time. And we're hoping, I think our goal is always to kind of have these maybe quarterly or something like that. But what's hard to believe is this is, I think, I could be wrong about this, I think this is episode 12.
12. That went quick.
That was crazy.
That time went very quick.
That means we've been doing this for a full quarter.
Ooh.
That's
We should know something then. By this point, we should be very intelligent people.
We should be acquiring some information, and we are. We are learning a lot of things. For example, let's talk about the importance of authenticity, like in social media. What do you think about that? Or even just as a business owner, how important is authenticity to you?
It's a great question. I think we talked about it a little bit last time I was on, of how my generation particularly and the generation following me are it's like in their DNA that they do not trust.
Right.
And it affects me in ways that kind of surprise me every now and then.
Yeah.
Like a little anecdote, my wife and I were just sitting at home at the end of a night, and some guy knocked on my door because a dog was running loose, and he got it. He was just trying to find where this dog was. Totally guy doing an amazing thing. But my initial reaction was like, who is this guy? Why is he at my house? And I was so defensive. And then I felt really bad about it. Like, he's just a guy trying to do a nice thing.
Right.
Because, and then I think to like watching the Andy Griffith Show or any of these like, down home Americana things where like back in the day, like would I have been like, oh, come in, we'll figure it out together. Here's some lemonade.
That's right.
But this generation, I'm like, get off my property. What are you doing here? Yeah, exactly. And
America.
I don't want to be that. I don't want that in me.
Yeah.
But I think that you see that so much these days, and we talked about that in content and that in how people react to things.
It's hard though, because it's not like that happened in a vacuum. There are reasons to distrust. I mean, there are crazies, and I think too though, like part of the reason is because not just social media, but media in general has so sensationalized everything, and we see everything. I think things used to kind of happen in secret and in the shadows before, and I think there's less secret and shadows, although because of that, now the reason it's hard to trust too is because you don't know what truth really is. It's hard to say that's true, that's not, because both could be true and false. And so you're constantly like in this discernment mode, and it's hard.
Yeah. The thing that I think has, and kind of overlooking where we've been since I've been on in these past 12 episodes and the amazing people that we've had talking here to talk to, was I think there is, in the people that from our lives and our friends and our coworkers, people that we know, there is such genuine people behind these social media accounts.
Bruh.
And we've not had we've not had anyone on that, was, like insanely popular or was like really doing gangbusters with their social media accounts. But we've had these people on that are genuine and they're real and they care so much about what they do that it's kind of maybe cut through that negativity of, everything is fake. Everyone is just showing themselves off on social media. I think that having real people on here to talk about what they do shows this human side and, why social media was invented in the first place.
Yes. Not just authenticity, but actual connection. Like, that's the weirdest thing to me about social media is that, like, it has kind of evolved into its own thing. But at its core, it's still about people that could otherwise be like disparate, in different places all over the world, like still being connected to one another in significant ways. And I think that's true. And I 100% agree with you that the people that we have had on this podcast have been some of the most amazing people. They're real, they're authentic people that are just trying to do something special with wherever they are, whether it's art or somebody who is really in the social media world and producing content and that sort of thing. Just they know they know that it's got to be it's got to come from the heart, from a real place, and that really shines through. I think you're right about that. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So yeah, I think authenticity matters. I think that's one of the reasons, from my perspective, why I wanted to start this podcast. And really, as we learn, apply what we learn to our digitizing business, Retro Media Digitizers, so that people could see in real time, in the real world, what that looks like. And it's difficult. It's hard. That one of the biggest takeaways, right, is anytime you start a business, anytime you set out to do anything, it's hard. And there will be times when you feel like it's sucking the life out of you. But you do it because you see the possible end, like where you're headed, creating something special for people. I think the service that we provide through Retro Media Digitizers is not only good. I think it's helpful. Mm. I have gotten already a wedding tape that, like, at least the first, and this is less of a big deal, but the first foot or two of the tape was damaged. It's crinkly, crunchy. And that's sad. Now, I think the rest of the tape's going to be just fine. But the point is that damage happened. It could have been a lot worse. It doesn't do to not recover that stuff. These are your memories. They help you, like, as you get older, stuff gets... I'll just say this. I'm older than... I'm the oldest guy in the room. Your memories get crowded. And you start thinking back, and, like, 20 years now feels like 10 years used to feel. 10 years feels like 5 years because time just gets compressed the older you get, which, by the way, scientifically, why each year feels faster than the last. Because if you're 10 years old, 1 year is 10% of your life, right? If you were 100 years old, 1 year is 1% of your life. So from just a compression standpoint, there's just more to remember. So each new addition is a smaller percentage of your actual volume of knowledge.
It's one of those things, like, just makes your brain
melt,
crinkly, crunchy.
Yeah. But I did want to speak to your trust thing. That actually is working its way backwards, even into my generation. Like, I'm actually a Gen Xer. My wife is a millennial. I'm just an old man these days.
I'm so sorry.
It's a match made in heaven. So we're gap bridgers, gap bridgers. We bridge gaps. Anyways,
gaps. That's what we do here. We bridge gaps.
We bridge gaps. So I had an interaction with a guy. I was buying a piece of equipment for video production. I needed to replace. I'm not going to say what it was because I don't want to be too obvious about it, and I don't want him to feel like it's personal if he ever watches this. It's not you, man. It's not you. It's me. Anyway, no. So he was selling me a piece of equipment, and he's out in another state, and he said, "Hey, I want to go through this company for the exchange, like, so I can receive funds and you get a product." And so I was like, "That's brilliant. It protects you. It's inconvenient because it makes the whole process take literally 3 times longer." But I understood. We don't know each other. There's a lack of trust when I don't know who you are. You're from New Jersey. That's all I need to know. I'm kidding.
But shout out to Toms River, New Jersey.
Yeah.
My people.
But yeah, so we don't know each other, and I was like, this is good. We'll do this. Well, it didn't work out. They wanted him to do some stuff. He didn't understand what they were asking him to do. So he's like, forget it. I thought this would be a great company to do this through. It's not working. He's like, how about we do this directly? Do you know what I'm thinking? Is this a scam?
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like he's scamming me. And he's like, the funny thing is now I trust you more than them. And I did the sweaty, smiley, laughy guy. Yeah, same, but not
buddy.
same. I don't feel that way.
Mm.
I don't. It makes like, I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure you're totally trustworthy. I'm just sitting here going, oh, I just don't know like if this was a scam or not. And so I'm very hesitant, and I'm like this close to saying, I'm sorry, bud. I'm sure you're great. I'm just going to go a different direction. And that means I miss out, but you'll sell it. It's a good product. Everybody wants it. So, and your price is good.
But it's so you
Anyway.
can take this anywhere. You can
Yes.
take this idea of trust and engagement and community, because it's one of the things where you can just keep going in circles.
Yes.
Where you have to engage community because people are expecting you to be lying to them. People are
Yes.
looking at images and expecting that it's AI. And then it spins back around to like, well, then we're questioning what is real.
Yep.
We no longer trust what is real because then we're expecting it to not be real. So you have to prove you're real. And there's no good way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that right now we're kind of in like an arms race of all these content creators, which is everyone. Because I know we talked about this last time too. Everyone with a cell phone is a content creator.
Yes.
I could right now come up with an idea, film it, and be on like a news show tomorrow morning about how popular I was gonna say Ellen, but I don't think Ellen's on the air anymore. She's
Yeah,
done.
I think you're right.
But so, but that's how. And when I say how easy it is, and this is a topic too to come back to. It's not easy.
Right.
It is so hard, and that's another thing with the people that we've had on, is just seeing how much work it's been, and the things that have gotten in the way. And you were speaking about our digitizing company, Retro Media Digitizers, and this. It's more than a company.
Yeah.
Because it is the ability to help people. It's the ability to say, oh, you have these beautiful, amazing memories that you're going to forget, that are going to get flood damage, they're going to get fire damage, or they're just going to warp. They're just going to naturally, like one of the statistics,
disintegrate.
One of the things we talk about a lot with this business, with customers and clients and just people and friends, is that every one of your VHS tapes at home is already out of date. And I don't mean that you don't have a VHS player anymore. I mean, they weren't intended to last this long.
That's right.
They are falling apart. If they work, it's a blessing. So, and
how much more like 8mm reels? People still have actual film reels. Get those things digitized, man.
Exactly. You have been on borrowed time for a long time. And that it's so much more than a business or a moneymaker or anything. It's something that we are passionate about, and it's been so cool to see people like you're talking as well of special instances. But there is one person that came to digitize with us that was like hat in his hands, said, the tape I'm giving you is the most precious thing I own.
That's right.
And it was one tape. It was a whole project was one tape, and he gave it to me with like you're going to take care of this, right?
Don't be specific, but say kind of what it is, and here's the reason why. It's what's precious to him.
It was a kindergarten graduation,
right?
It was, and
that's awesome.
And the first time I saw it, I was like, "That's it." Because I guess I was expecting this like thing.
Yeah.
But then I think we thought about it, and we were digitizing it, and we were like, oh my word, this is his world.
Yes.
This tape of this kindergarten graduation was so important that he found us and drove to us and gave us this tape and was like, please take care of it.
Yeah.
And it did. It was digitized, and he was so happy.
Yeah.
And it's things like that that just make you want to create, and they make you want to do. And like that's the engagement, right? That's what we want to affect people with.
That's right. That's right. I think about how many, okay, so I'll just share this. So my family, and this is how far back, I got to reach out to them to do this, but my extended family. So this would be my grandmother's sisters, right? People I hardly ever see. But they have a whole Facebook page dedicated to that entire side of the family. They'll post pictures. I have two sides of my family that do this. My mom's, hold on. It's my mom's dad's family, and then my dad's mom's family. I know that's complicated, but the point is, two separate, never met, don't even know each other exists groups, but they have Facebook pages dedicated to posting old pictures. How good do you think the quality of those pictures on Facebook are? Wait, how good do you think is? How good do you think the quality of those photos are? Is. Yes, the quality. That's the quality is.
The English major behind the camera has told us that it's is.
It is. So the quality is not great. The quality is poor. Half of those photos, when they upload it, for whatever reason, either they're literally taking a picture with their phone, which is the worst. You get you get reflection, you get lousy angles
on a table. It's all warped.
Whatever. The actual like color tint is wrong half the time. They look atrocious. Digitized. I'm looking at this going, I need to reach out to my family and just be like, look, send them to me. We will digitize them.
And I think this is a fantastic segue into what we want, what we've learned, and what we are facing down the barrel of what we have to do, because we have a great product, we have a great business model, we have this idea, but people don't know about it. And that is the lesson for us. It's the lesson for you watching and listening. It's the lesson for you could have the best product in the world. If people don't know about it today, there's nothing I can do for you.
That's right.
And because there's so much out there. And I truly don't know how marketing used to be back in the day, but man, it just feels like just going on your phone or going outside or going on a drive, you are just blasted with possibilities, with marketing, with things. It's election season. You can't go for a drive without seeing all kinds of signs and all kinds of things to vote for this, vote for this, vote for this. Just people trying to grab your attention.
So ready for the election to be over.
But we have to take that step and show people what we have and what we do. Because I feel the same way. I've never been a social media person myself. It's something that I talked about last time. But I am stopping our business from growing. I'm stopping my family from protecting their precious photos and videos and taking photos on the kitchen counter by not marketing it.
Right.
And I think that is it's a step that feels so weird. It feels so foreign to, it's like I think I heard someone say once, I wish I could think of who it was, but I think someone said you have to embrace the cringe. You have to step into it, and it's going to feel cringy. You're going to feel like you're marketing like, oh, who cares about this thing? You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to embrace the cringe, because if you don't, you're stopping yourself from growing. You're stopping what you care about from seeing the light of day.
That's something I think we should openly explore in the weeks, months ahead, is the feeling of being a sellout, right? Like selling my soul to the devil of social media. It can feel that way, and that feels yucky. And I think part of the reason is because we have seen people on social media that it appears that that's what they've done. Their entire lives are on display, and that feels not quite right. You wonder about like the health of their family, especially if like it's someone with kids. Is that healthy for their kids to be like out and on like that all the time, and they have no choice in it? I think we'll be dealing with that as a society for a few years, probably.
Oh yeah.
And some of that will be not great. You know what I mean? Mom was never available. This was mom. It's probably not great. I don't want to feel that way, and you don't either. But right, there is a flip side to this. Social media has now provided the ability for any company, especially small like ours, that are providing, I think, a great service, to be able to get information out about who they are, the service they provide, why you should not be afraid of them. I mean, that's one of the things, to me, that's what authenticity is all about. But building a brand that's based around us, and specifically, actually, you and Amanda, with Retro Media Digitizers, I think it's important that people see you two. You two are, as a couple, some of the most genuine, authentic, real. One of the reasons why social media can be a bit challenging for us is because we don't want it to feel plastic and fake, right? And I know you guys kind of wrestle with that a little bit. How do we
Yeah.
how do we do it?
It's so interesting a topic. I think we talk about it all day long. This idea of being genuine and inviting social media, not just social media, but inviting this sort of content creation into your house. Another anecdote, sure, why not? We relatively recently did a post on Retro Me Digitizers that you should check out on Retro Me Digitizers on all social media platforms. But we did a post where my wife Amanda had this great idea that what if there's someone out there that has a VHS tape that they, that VHS player that they got forever ago and it doesn't work right, or maybe they want to blow the dust off some of their stuff and see it. Let's teach them how to clean it.
That's brilliant.
So she was like, oh, let's sit down at the table and I'll just bring this out. And I was so uncomfortable. I was like, but if I film it this way, they're going to see that I haven't cleaned the windowsill and there's dust on the table and my books are out. And I was like running around like a madman just because I was so embarrassed of like, but the social media people are going to see it.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was so weird. I don't think we've ever like shown just a little clip of our existence to the social media stratosphere. And it feels like you're just like, you're jumping into shark infested waters and you're just like, what's going to happen? Like,
let me bury my soul and show you my guts. Okay.
And of course, none of that happened.
No,
of course it was fine. Of course it was a great post that
really was,
that we really want to utilize as kind of like another thing we want to do and something to look at for the future. But this weirdness of just, how do I invite that into my house? How do I invite that into my family without losing myself? I don't want to lose myself to it, but I want to utilize it in order to do what we want to do here. Such an interesting back and forth. I don't think there is a clear answer. I think it's something you have to explore and you have to do it and you have to maybe cross a line and then say, okay, that's where that line was. We have to go back now. Or maybe you just duck your head in and go. I mean, we learned when Scott Leonard was on here, he was beyond words intelligent on all of these strategies and all of these things you have to do
in like a fun way.
Exactly.
He's awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Incredible guy. I was like back there taking notes the whole time.
I know, right?
But his words ring so true on that ability to, he did this for being professional. This is what he does to make money with the company he works for. But also he chooses to have his own little meme account. Yes. That's fun for him. He's able to show off his little nerd setup in his basement with his Lego sets and all of his stuff from Star Wars, but that's energizing to him. Yes. He's found a way to keep it aside. Like, he doesn't show his kids. The times that he has, he's covered their faces, which totally totally understandable. Yep. He's found a way to have that line, but to embrace it. And I think that is such an instance to look at and model yourself after.
I think that's right. And this is a really good segue, I think, kind of to wrap things up. I don't know how long we've been going exactly. But I will say this. You hit beautifully kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff as far as like how it's been for you. I love that that's a word I would use is vulnerable, right? I mean, just being like open and honest, like this is how I felt about it. And I love that. I think it's important. And to me, that is authenticity. That's what that looks like. So good on you, man. But how does that change our approach? What if people do start like tracking and start following Retro Media Digitizers? What kinds of things do you think they'll start seeing in the next 3 to maybe like 6 months as you guys kind of push forward? And I say you guys, but we start pushing forward and trying to figure out that piece.
Yeah, I would hope that you see. I'm gonna look at the camera when I say this. I hope that you see engagement, and I hope that you see something that is more than a business, and it's more than this something that you have to do, like a chore. like, oh, I got to look through those old tapes, or, oh, I got to look through those photos, or, I got to go in the basement and get that big box of stuff. I don't want it to be something that is laborious or a chore to you, or just something that, oh, I have to make something to spend money on. I want this to be something where you can get things from. You can see people talking to each other, showing each other their photos, and saying, oh, this is a photo I have of my wedding, and the sides it's all washed out, or it's all sun bleached, and having that community to talk to people, to see that there are people in this area, in your area, that have similar things or similar interests. Because we talk a lot about this, but we'll never be we're never going to be an account that people flock to. It's just not in the cards, and it's fine. We don't have to be. We're not going to have the millions and millions of subscribers. We're not going to be like a Discord profile where people just talk and send memes to each other. But I still, that doesn't mean that we can't be something. It doesn't mean we can't be something to you, the viewer, to get something from, or to just see. I follow so many accounts that are just kind of fun looks into this area and history. Burke's Nostalgia. I was a big fan of her and what she does way before we ever had her on this podcast, just as a little bit of, it's just a little bit of community to interact with, to see someone saying, oh, I recognize that place.
Yeah.
And I think so for the next 3 to 6 months, I think I want to see Retro Media Digitizers focus on that consistent posting, on that being there, something that you can count on seeing in your feed, and doing more than just, oh, it's the winter sale, and 10% off, and use this coupon code, because that gets so tiring.
We see it. We
do
with our own competitors. Like, we see it. I'm like, I don't want to be that.
No,
I want to be a person. I want Retro Media Digitizers to be not even Retro Media. I kind of want it to be us, our little family company, and we help people digitize memories.
Yes.
More than just, oh yeah, we can digitize your stuff, and that's what we do. We're a machine. It's personal, and I want it to stay personal.
Agreed.
And personable. So yeah, I think that's right. I think that's what people probably can and should look forward to in the weeks and months ahead, is as we start to explore social media as a company. Our goal, our desire, is that you see us, you hear from us, that it's we're real people, that you're sending your precious memories, and we understand, just from the gentleman you were talking about, it was, the tape was a physical representation of this memory. So it wasn't just the memory, although that's the meat and potatoes of what matters, right, is the memory itself. So digitizing it, that's why you would digitize that. But what we realized is that the tape, the actual format of that media, the tape was an object that represented the memory. And so for him, he was like, when do I get the tape back? Take care of it, be careful with it. Even though we were digitizing it, which would maintain that memory forever, in theory, he still cared about the object. So we understand that these things represent much more to you than simply a memory. It's an object that represents a memory, or a memory encapsulated in an object. And so it itself is precious to you. We get it. So I think that's that's the sense we want to communicate through all of our social media, is that we want to have fun. That's why we call it Retro Media Digitizers, why we have a fun logo and all that stuff. But we understand the value too. So
absolutely,
that's cool. Well, man, I'm excited. This is good. So next 3 to 6 months, we'll see how things proceed, and then we'll have you back on again.
I know. I feel like the first time I talked, I was like, yeah, where's this down to earth operation? It's no problem. Then we kept interviewing these fantastic people
right.
with such cool things they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, geez, now I got to do and what's going to happen in the next 6 months? I got to come back with very, very intelligent. I'm going to have glasses next time.
And I'll have cool socks.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Look
Thank you, guys.
Forward to it.
We'll catch you next time. Thanks.